Hello, folks. Jeff Eubanks here in the pipe lounge, down here in the soon-to-be man cave. Hope everybody's having a good week. We are winding it down. I thought I had this pipe going good. My wife said, "You spend too much time trying to keep that pipe lit." I said, "Well, it's a pipe video." I went today and bought me some new tobacco. The cigar bar in Woodstock, I have found, has good pipe supplies. I have quite a few pipes. I was able to get me a pipe tool, but they are very cigar oriented. But ain't none of them glass pipes. I don't feel embarrassed to go in there. Afraid I'm gonna run into Tommy Chong, Leo from that '70s show. But this is a vanilla custard cream. And I like it. I've been watching other videos and they talk about all the flavors and stuff, and this one I can definitely taste the sweetness of it. But other than that, I'm still trying to develop my palate for the bready and the nutmeg. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that. But these are it's aromatic, and it's I think it was like $7, and I really don't know if that's good cost or not. But 1/2 ounces, so it'll last me as long as I need it. That's for sure. But make a few videos with it. Today is Saturday. I'm videotaping this a little bit earlier than normal, but I tell you what, I didn't hit a lick at a snake all day long today. My wife, I'm batching it this weekend. Me and the dogs and my son. My wife has gone to on a girls' trip with some of my cousins over to Charleston. So, I'm here. Got up this morning. The only constructive thing I did today, I went over and my mom was having some thoughts of her furnace not working properly, but I think I got all that straightened out. I mean, I had plans, man. I was going to get my tractor out and drive it around some. I hadn't driven it in 3 or 4 weeks, so keep that battery charged. I'd even had plans of getting one of my rifles out and maybe doing some plinking today. Didn't do it. Of course, it's been gloomy all day long. We got rain. It's just been kind of gloomy. I did go into another beehive, but I was suspect that something wasn't right. It wasn't right. I may cover that on another video. Not going to get into it here. I get off on a beehive chat. I won't cover the things I want to cover with my pontification. Come here, Cooper. You want to get in the video? Come on, buddy. Oh, Lord. Here comes Bella. Yeah, I may have got my man card punched today because I took my dogs, my wife's dogs out for a ride in my truck. Now, grant you, it's not no big jacked up, Monster Max or Bigfoot, but it is a 4-wheel drive truck riding around with 2 little frou-frou dogs in the back seat with their seat belts on. So if anybody saw me, I may get a punch on my man card for that one. But I began to think last week about, well, I touched on it on my Wonderful Wednesday video about 10 things men need. And I was appalled at the 10 things men need. So I decided I was going to come up with stuff of my own. Now, grant you, this is going to be a Southern, good old boy, Baptist review. The Bible speaks of when I was a child, I acted as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. And I am very well aware of the saying, the only difference between men and boys are the price of their toys. I understand that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I begin to think, what do men need nowadays? You know, I have two sons, and they both turned out to be real good men. My older son, Cameron, lives in Utah. The youngest son still lives here at home. But they both good, hardworking men. Cameron's married and a good provider. But, you know, I as a dad did my best to raise them the same way my dad raised me. With, you know, respect for God and country. Matter of fact, Cameron, he was big into the ROTC, but he didn't take that route. Not for everybody, that's for sure. And I thought by now I'd have his pipe burning pretty regular. What I get for thinking. But I can think, now what does a southern good old boy man need in life? Well, first and foremost, he needs a Bible and some basic understanding of the scriptures. You know, I was in school, the Gideons always come by and gave us some little red New Testament things, but they don't do that no more, I think. But every man, every person, you know, y'all know I'm well, not everybody, but some of y'all may know I'm a Freemason. And when applying for membership, petitioning the lodge, one of the questions I ask you, do you believe in an almighty supreme being and his will of in some form of will of your life? Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's very important. The next thing a man needs, a job. Get out and get a job, you know. I was taught to work growing up. I worked around the house. My job was mowing grass. After I got a little bit bigger, I started working with my cousin on his farm, 45 acres, helping him with, you know, the cattle chores and, you know, baling hay, stuff like that. That's work right there. But I enjoyed it. I loved to mow with my tractor, bush hog. And I realized, you know, not everybody can do that, but just things that men should have. Now this next one, a pair of cowboy boots. Every man needs a pair of cowboy boots, at least one. And I'm not talking something you buy at Walmart. I'm talking at least a pair of Justin's. Leather cowboy boots, black, or and the pointed toes. Yeah, that's what you need when you're a man. I've got 2 or 3 pair of boots. Now, one thing that little thing did talk about was a knife. Every man needs a knife. I have several. I actually brought this from Whippany down here today. I was using this one to clean the bowls out on my pipes. But I have several knives. I have knives that belong to my dad, my granddad, and things like that can be passed down. Mm-hmm. Sure can. And they're handy dandy little tools. Back about 5 years ago, I guess, maybe closer to 6. First time my dad got sick. He got sick. We couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. We all thought he had a respiratory infection because he's just having terrible. He was weak, and I finally convinced him one Saturday we got to go to urgent care. Got to urgent care, and because he had a heart murmur, which we didn't know about, they wouldn't see him, so he went on to ER. Found out he was anemic. And so they had to find out. It's a little story time. They're going to find out where he's losing blood from. So they prepped him for the colonoscopy. And that's an adventure if you've never had one. The prep is terrible. But so he was getting all prepped for it. And all up in the night, he woke up. Mom was there with him, of course. She wouldn't leave him. and need to go to the bathroom bad. And she said, well, I'll ring the nurse. He said, I don't have time for that. I've got to go to the bathroom now. He said, do you have scissors or anything? Because I had him hooked up to an IV. Because she said, you can't go in there for that IV. I don't know what to do. It's all hooked up. And he asked her if she had some scissors. He said, even toenail clippers. Because he's going to the bathroom. And she didn't. He said, give me my pants. And what he had in his pants pocket? An old timer. And he popped that, he cut that IV, got to the bathroom. Well, of course, Mom had already buzzed the nurses, so they got down there. And they, I don't really recall the reaction I heard on that part. But the next morning when the doctor showed up, I vividly remember Diddy talking about this. And the doctor said, well, Mr. Eubanks, I understand you had an episode last night. Dad said, yeah, sorry about that. He said, well, where'd you get a knife? He said, I've been carrying a knife since I was old enough to have pants with pockets. Bingo. I'm about the same way. I carried a knife all through high school. Yeah. Of course, Lord, you couldn't do that now. My gosh. And I never did cut nobody. One of these days I might do a whittling video. But yeah, so man needs a knife. Good knife. Decently sharp too. Yep, decently sharp. And I tell you something else a man needs. A gun of some sort. Oh, I hit the phone. Hit the tripod. And a basic understanding of the operations and safety, the safe way to operate a gun. I don't care if it's just a BB gun, pellet gun. Every man needs a gun. You need to be able to go out and plink. I have taught both my sons the safe and proper use of firearms. And, just something I had to do. Taught them how to use chainsaws, taught them how to use skill saws safely. These are pieces of equipment that can, dismember you. Of course, a gun can kill you, but, you can kill yourself with a saw, too. So, but, that's, there's some of the things that a man needs to do and needs to have. Oh, Lord, now the dogs are getting excited. Now, they don't need to hear y'all. Hey, hush. They're missing their mama. Yeah, missing their mama. I'm tired of trying to keep this tight. I'm talking too much. So, but, one other thing that I realized yesterday that I failed on raising my youngest son. He was going to his Christmas party at work. And he didn't know how to tie his tie. And I thought then, Lord, I have failed. I used to wear ties pretty good bit at church. I kind of got out of that. My neck got fat or something. But had to tie it for him and slide it off over my fat head. And then slide it over his fat head. No, his head's not fat. He just got way too much hair. It's down to here. He needs a haircut, but anyway. So I realized then, I kind of failed by not teaching my son how to tie a tie. A simple, single Windsor. Ties are kind of finicky. If they're not made just right, at least for me, if they're not made just right, a double Windsor is a real nice looking knot, but a single Windsor will get you through. And you just have to be up on your tying process. So, just things that we need to teach our young men. Like I said, when I was a child, I speak as a child, I acted as a child, but when I become a man, I put away childish things. But we still have our little interests and hobbies, and there's nothing wrong with that. I got a buddy, he loves bass fishing, he's got a nice boat, and him and his wife like to camp, and they got a real nice camper. But you know what? You can never let your hobbies drive you. Don't let your hobbies work you. You work your hobbies. And I found that out with beekeeping. It's something, bees will drive you crazy. You go, and they're enjoyable, but at the same time, it can become a chore. So any hobby you have, you work that hobby. You do that hobby the way you want to. Don't let that hobby work you. At the shop, the boss, he had a saying. He said, have a plan and work your plan. So that's how we always tried to do it there. That's how we still try to do it at the shop. Don't always work out that way, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes. And I may be just copying. You know, I thought when I started this would be a great. Oh man, I'm gonna get me a bunch of subscribers, and I have picked up some subscribers. But I thought, man, this would just be awesome on YouTube. Well, everybody else is doing it too. I can't get nothing original. But come find out, there's a thing they call the YouTube pipe community. I think they got a YTBC. I think is what they call it. YTBC. Yeah, I think that's what they call it. YouTube pipe community. If you're listening, I mean, if you're watching from that community, I appreciate you watching. Like my videos. If you just like it, that'll push me up in the algorithms. If you found anything here remotely interesting or thought-provoking, by all means, make comments. I like to hear comments. I have the gift of gab. I don't type too well. Never did learn how to spell real good in school. I never did go to kindergarten, and my daughter said that's why I never learned how to spell good. But anyway, I get by. So yeah, a little review of this Snufflet, Sutlet, Sutliff. That's how it's pronounced. Got it, Woodstock cigar bar, and also got my pipe cleaner, tamper, and I bet you that right there is what you open up a cigar with. Not a big fan of cigars, but boy, I like my pipe backer. I like the smell, I do. And this right now, it has left a wonderful smell down here in the pipe lounge. And, you know, don't leave a real bad taste in your mouth. That's good. And maybe one of these days I'll be up there and can, you know, sense all these flavors in it. But, so anyhow, there you have it. I've gone on too long. I appreciate you watching my videos. I appreciate your comments, your likes, and your subscriptions. And we will be back in touch with you very soon. Jeff Eubanks. Thank you very much.